What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I'm having an ASBO day today. I haven't had one of them in a while and I want to get these forks all stripped out and service them and change the seals and all that stuff, so that's what I'm doing. I'm a little bit late getting in here and that's because I didn't start my day as I normally do. I had to get up at stupid o'clock this morning because I was working last night until late as I normally do anyway, but I had to get up at stupid o'clock this morning to attend my speed awareness course. I got done speeding. I did. It wasn't even like I was hooning either. Basically I was in the van doing 30 miles an hour. Come on, there we go. That's right. Yeah, doing 30 miles an hour, and then the road sort of, dips down, so I took my foot off the gas and just coasted. And the only trouble is I picked up an extra 6 miles an hour just as I went past the camera. So, in the UK, I don't know what it's like where you are, but in the UK, if you're not doing stupid speeds, then you have a choice. As long as you haven't attended one in the last 3 years, you can do a police sort of sanctions training course, if that makes sense. All about speed awareness and stuff. So that's how I started my day. You have to pay for it, and the fee is basically the same as the fine you would get anyway for doing 36 in a 30. But you don't get the points on your licence. So your insurance premium don't go up and all that sort of stuff, so it's worth doing. Come on. There we go. So yeah, it's worth doing just to keep your insurance down. But like I say, I'm late getting in here today because of that. Right, got my bits. Now I'm not going to stand here and tell you how amazing it was or anything else. I'm not, it's all stuff like how to spot the signs when you're likely to speed and what causes you to speed and how to avoid it and how you feel about speeding and all that other sort of stuff. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to, any of the stuff that I picked up on, all the stuff that they're teaching. If you want to find that out, just get caught for speeding. They'll invite you along to one, I'm sure. You can find out for yourself and you pay for it. Alright, okay. But I will give you some advice. Don't be the funny man in the room. It doesn't go down very well. I had to do one of these courses, when was it? God, it must have been about 6 years ago now. As long as you haven't done one in 3 years, then you can go along and do one of these courses instead of just getting the points and the fine and all the rest of it. The last one I went on, we got invited up to this. They hired out a conference room in a local hotel, and it was all done there. So it was all face to face and all that sort of stuff. But now, because of COVID, everything's moved online. So basically, you're sitting there in front of your laptop on a Zoom meeting, and there's Mrs. Woman who's doing all the instruction and stuff and leading the course and whatnot, and there's all the other criminals in the room with their little pictures up, all looking a bit sheepish. And that's how the course is done. But don't be the funny man, it's not worth it. The first one I went to, the fella who took the course, he was an ex-copper, an ex-policeman. And the woman who was doing this one, she's like a member of the Advanced Institute of Motoring Instruction or something. Yeah, neither of them have got a sense of humour when it comes to speeding. Not at all. You don't do it, it just isn't worth it. Like there was, part of it was tailgating. When someone's right up your trumpet and stuff, how do you deal with it? And in my head I'm going, oh, tap the brakes, I mean they'll soon back off, wouldn't they? And I didn't say anything. However, this other fella, he said exactly what I was thinking. He went, oh, you just tap the brakes, they soon back off. That had her rolling her eyes and tutting instantly. But as he said it, all the fellas and the thing was like this, yeah, that's what I'd do. It was brilliant, it was. I would have done it. Worked for me in the past. Right, so what have we got in here then? Comes through, I just got these off eBay. Wasn't massively expensive or anything else. Pyramid parts, specialist motorcycle parts. Essentially, it's just a service kit for a set of Daytona 955i forks. You've got the bushes. There's like one of each down each leg. Got some grease for that, and then we've got some rubber grease here, and you've got the seals and the dust caps. These did have like a little black doohickey thing that went up. It looks horrible, so that's gone. I just need to get these apart, swap those bits out, give it a damn good clean, and get them working again. I've already loosened the tops off whilst it was in the yokes. It's just the easiest way basically, because I don't really want to mar all this stuff up. Looking at them closely, there's a couple of tiny little pits, you know, like it's just starting, but they're bloody good nick, it has to be said. So they're going to be alright on the project, but this one is a little bit worse. So when I come to actually building the thing, like the area of travel down the bottom's fine, it's the bit that sticks out the top that gets it. But when I come to do the project build on it, they're just going to get re-chromed, I think. So, what else are good in it? Well, I need to get some oil out, leave the impact going. Well, I'll start with this one, I suppose. Where's my socket? Just going to do one at a time. Essentially, this is the, you know, everything on the front end is basically going to fit to these. So I might as well start on the forks and get them right. And then, you know, brake calipers and front wheel and everything else can just go on to it afterwards, sort of thing. There we are. Oh, that oil stinks. Right, bucket. It is horrible. Oh, the smell. Right, I doubt these have been serviced in a very long time. First up, it absolutely honks. It is nasty as. But then the other thing is, if you look at the oil, it looks almost metallic. And I was chatting with, who was it? I can't remember who it was now. But where all the assembly goes up and down inside, there is a certain amount of metal rubbing on metal. And you're going to get like little filings and all sorts of stuff that goes into the oil. And it is just nasty. Well, that's interesting, that's not even all the way down. Right, okay. I'm just going to stick this in a vice and let it drain for a bit. I just want to look at the other one. Right. So with these forks, essentially it's a cartridge fork. So inside here there is there's a damper rod that everything goes through, and there's a cap with valving and everything else on the top. I don't know if they're standard. I don't know anything about them. I just know they're off a Daytona 955i. Don't know when they were last serviced or anything. So, you know, a little bit of exploration needed. Where are we? Right, so the compression adjuster down the bottom is literally just like a needle that goes into a seat. That's it. If you wind this whole thing out, you'll see. Actually, I'll pull it out and show you later on. I have no idea if they're set as they should be, as stock. Probably not. I mean, they're quite old. Someone's going to bound to have had a play with it, but we shall see. So. And that adjuster's stuck. Brilliant. Right, let's see if he'll free up a little bit. Biggest screwdriver. No, brilliant. So he's seized in there as well. So that's me pulling all the caps apart too. And that screw has just been, well, it's in better days. Right. What I was going to do was screw that in so it's all the way, you know, like the hardest damping, so, you know, the slowest rate on rebound. And then wind it out just to see how much adjustment I've got and also where it is set currently. And then wind it all the way back into hard before I take the cap off. Just because that way all the valving and everything else is where it needs to be when it's all bottomed out. There we go. Impact guns are brilliant for this sort of stuff. Just that initial shock is enough to take this bolt out of the bottom, which can just be a massive pain. So there's the bolt. Is there not a washer on there? Yes, there is. There we go. Little copper washer on the bolt. It's got a hole in it because obviously it goes in the bottom of the cartridge. That way. And one in the end. So the washer will be getting replaced and this whole assembly should come out. Along with more oil. Right. That's it. Let me just drain this. I really need a tray to do all this in because it is mucky. Right. I'm spraying on the bottom. Not so bad. See, there's still oil in it. Let's drain that as well. Bugger all to it, really, is there? Bit more to what you'll find in a Bandit. Not a lot. Right, all that's going to get cleaned up before it gets put back together. I'll let that fault leg drain a little bit and then I'll bash it apart and get the seals out. So you can go there. This is the worrying bit, really. Because that screw is knackered. Absolutely knackered. It's going to need freeing up and replacing. So this is just the preload. That one moves quite happily. Basically all it's doing is moving this plunger in and out. So essentially that sits down on this top cap. Obviously there's a nut on there, it sits down on top of the sheath that the damper rod goes into, and essentially it just pushes down so it compresses the spring and you get a bit more bounce for your buck. Well, that's all quite free and happy. Essentially that screw is just going to move the damper rod in and out, but I need to get it off. Right, so I had a look in the manual for it. So I wanted to see how this cap all came apart. Doesn't cover it. Shows you how to strip the rest of the thing down. So I ended up punting a message out to Simon Rolls. There we go. Right, basically that is stuck in there and I need to get it out. Come on, is that just a sealing ring? Yes it is. Essentially this rod is just on the end of that screw and it is stuck. And I need to get the bugger out. I can't, there's no way of telling if it's all the way in or all the way out either. Right. That could do with a clean up, couldn't it? Is that Simon Rolls again? Right. He is currently sitting in a vice and I've squirted some WD-40 down the end of it. She's back again. Oh, it never stops. Right, so that's all that lot. If I have to get another cap, I mean these are pretty chewed, and when the bike's all done up and nice and everything else, I want it to look, you know, really good, and they are a bit chewed up. I might end up getting some more caps. In the meanwhile, let's have a go at this. So it's been draining. There's not a lot in there. It does need a damn good clean on the inside as well, but we should at least be able to get it apart and get it clean. Right. Do you move? Yes. More compression adjuster moves. That's good. I said I was going to show you this, didn't I? Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go, that's all it is. It's just like a little plunger. You've got like a little needle with a, you know, flat end to it, and in here there'll be a hole. Yeah, there's a hole in the bottom there. I don't know if you can see. I'll try and get some pictures, but basically you turn this and it just forces that needle in and out of that aperture. So it's reducing the rate at which the oil can flow through basically, and it's the same sort of thing as on the top. It will get a new O-ring and a damn good clean because it's filthy. Right. Okay. Let's get these apart. These dust seals are just mullered. That's junk. Can you see all that? Yes. Right, so there should be a clip in here. Where's the end? There we go. There's a clip that just retains the seal in place. And there we got the seal. So this is essentially a bash apart fork. So, ooh, it's still some oil in there. Oh, the stink. Gross. Right. Oh, you are minging. Right, there's nothing else in there. So here, basically, I've got that's the oil seal, and then there's a washer, and then we've got one of the seats and the other one there. These are just the bushings. This one sits in a groove. All this lot will just slide off like that. There we go. That one, that one. And this one, there's a split in it there. So shove a screwdriver in and wiggle it off, basically. There's probably some special tool you can get for this. Come on! Oh, the smell. It's rank. There we go. So they don't actually look bad, do they? Hardly anywhere at all on that. Hardly anything. Inside it's a little bit discoloured, but and the other one it is a bit discoloured. A bit of wear, but I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. Right, so that should be empty. Which it is, and it stinks. Right, let's get the parts washer going and get this clean. Right, so that's all clean again. I've had stuff going through the ultrasonic just to try and shift stuff and get stuff clean. I don't think this is going to move though, at all. The nut is really annoying. I want to get that out. I don't know the VIN number that this actually came off. So finding parts is a little bit hard. Come on. Let's do this in reverse. I wonder if I've got a... Right, it's starting to shift. I'm still not happy. I'd get the bugger out. Right, a bit more WD. Okay, so we might as well get the rest of this assembled, I guess. Stick it all back together. I'm going to need to sort out something with that screw and the damping rod. Ideally I want to get it out and just replace the screw on the end. If I end up getting new caps, I end up getting new caps, but well, if push came to shove, I could probably always make another one. Got laid. Right, let's, what else we got in here? Right, so that's the main cap housing. Stick him there out of the way. And the damping tester. Okay, so it's had new O-rings on. A little bit of rubber grease on that bit. Screw back in there. A bit more rubber grease. A little bit more rubber grease on there. And he can go back in his hole. Oh. Right, so that's the second of the bushings. Then it is the washer. So he's all greased up. We've got a look. Yes, we do. It's just there's a ring around the top here, and I don't want it to mess up the the seal on the rubber. So just pop a bit of tape on it. Should be able to squeeze him over like that. And go down in there. What I'm doing here is just knocking it down until I can see the ring that little clip sits in. Right. And then the clip. Right, easy. So I want the dust cover. He has a little splodge of grease just to help him. He comes down and gets pushed on. Like that. That's the bottom leg sort of done. Right. Alright, I really need to sort out this adjuster. Right, so I've had this just upside down with WD down here. I think if you look at the end of this, it is knackered. It is properly knackered. They do that, don't they? Can you see that? It's buggered. Essentially, I think that screw basically fixes to this damper rod, and it's just threaded all the way through, because you can see it coming out the bottom. So it goes up to a shoulder in here, so if you're winding it out, it can't come all the way out, sort of thing. And when it's all assembled, if you wind it all the way in, the bottom of the damper rod goes into the bottom of the cartridge. Well, I say it's a cartridge, it's not really, but you know what I mean. Goes into the bottom of the valving at the bottom, and that seals it up. So if whichever way you wind it, it can't go all the way down and it can't come all the way out, because it's held captive by the assembly. Trouble is, this is all mushroomed over like anything. It does move a tiny bit, but not enough. But it needs to come out, because otherwise I can't adjust my damping, which would be a nightmare. So see, it wiggles a little bit, but bugger all. I think where it's all been mullered, it's just mushroomed out, and it's now past the opening on this top surface, so I can't wind it out. I might end up sticking this in the lathe, actually. If I stick it in the lathe and just skim the top of that off, so it's flush with this top surface, I might even take a little bit of that off. Then I can pilot drill it, put a bigger drill bit in, wind that up, and it might just catch and drive it out, I don't know. But he needs doing. Right, so I've been goofing about on here. Had a go on the lathe, and I've basically run a drill just to take that the brass screw that was all chewed up and everything else. Basically got down so far, opening that up a tiny bit at a time. Eventually an O-ring came out. So I'm hoping I'm down to the bottom of it. This is now screwing out, which is cool. Yeah. So you can see I've literally just taken off the very top. I'll get a picture and show you, but I just took the top off of it. So I'm probably going to have to make another one of these somehow. What could I do? It would either be a case of I could flat this off here in the lathe, drill and tap it, and put another piece in the end, which is probably what I'm going to do actually. I've got some brass and I've got taps and dies, and that is just sort of press fitted. Well, it's like dimple fitted. It's like there's obviously a core that goes through here, and then it's been dinked in 3 places just to sort of lock it in place. It does move on it though, which is a bit, but at least we got it out. And there's no damage done to that. I do need to get that last little bit of brass out though. 6.95. Right, I have a cunning plan. I'm sorry about noisy boys outside, nothing I can do about it. Turn you off. Right, because I've got a lathe, I have a cunning plan. Basically, I'm going to turn that into one of them. Well, not the whole thing, just a little bit on the end. To explain, I've had the adjuster back in the lathe, and I've been gradually stepping up the drill bits to try and clear this hole out where this brass thing was jammed in it, or that brass thing rather. And I managed to get the last little piece out. Came out as one, which is quite cool. I'll get a picture and show you that, but it's painfully thin, it's like tin foil. But it grabbed and it came out, so that's all good. And I've just cleaned up the hole so there's no burrs or anything else in there. But obviously I need to remake this adjuster because at the minute that's about 16mm too short where I've been going down with the drill. So what I'm going to do is face this off and take it down to that shoulder, so it will bottom out on the shoulder on the inside of this to obviously keep it captive. Then I'm going to drill it and tap it, and then using this I'm going to make a replacement end piece basically. I've got some rough dimensions. We'll send it in here sort of like 10mm. That will get thread locked in place as well, so it ain't going to go anywhere. And I think that's the best way of doing it. I'm probably going to have to do this on the other one as well. But this is where having a lathe and stuff is just so cool. Because if I didn't have it, I'd be buggered. Right, I'm going to start by making the screw on the end, I think. Take my dimensions and my calipers.